The lunchroom was always loud, but that day the noise seemed to fade for a split second, right when the new girl, Sarah, walked in. She was carrying a worn-out lunchbox, holding it close like it was the last safe thing in her world. It was only her third week at Jefferson High, but it already felt like she had been dropped into the middle of a storm she couldn't control. The way the whispers followed her, the way people turned their heads when she passed, she wasn't invisible, but she wished she was. Sarah had moved here from another city after her father passed away and her mother lost her job. She was quiet, polite, and always seemed to be studying the room before sitting down anywhere. That day, she sat alone, unwrapping a simple sandwich. She didn't notice the three boys standing behind her, the ones everyone knew ruled the cafeteria like they owned it. One of them, Tyler, leaned in and muttered something cruel about her clothes. Another reached for her lunchbox, yanking it away. Sarah stood up quickly, trying to take it back, but that's when it happened. One of them grabbed her by the neck from behind, pushing her forward slightly. Gasps rose from nearby tables, but no one moved. The lunchroom wasn't a safe place to be a hero. What no one expected was that the principal, Mr. Lawson, was standing near the doorway, watching the whole scene unfold. He didn't rush in right away. He didn't shout or demand they stop. He just observed. It seemed cold, even wrong, but there was something about his expression that said he was waiting for something. Sarah froze for a second under the grip on her neck. She could feel her pulse racing, her breathing shallow. But then something shifted in her eyes. She turned slowly, looking straight at the boy holding her. Her voice was calm, almost steady, but her words cut through the air like glass. "You think this makes you strong? You think hurting someone who's already been through more than you can imagine makes you powerful? It just makes you small." The cafeteria went quiet. Tyler's smirk faltered. The boy's grip loosened, but Sarah didn't move away. She stood tall, or as tall as she could, with every inch of her saying she wasn't afraid anymore. Mr. Lawson finally stepped forward. His voice was sharp, carrying over the silence. "Office, now." He didn't just mean the boys, he also looked at Sarah. Everyone was confused, but Sarah walked beside the bullies without a single glance at the watching crowd. In the office, Mr. Lawson did something unexpected. He sent the bullies to sit in the hallway while he spoke to Sarah privately. He asked her what had happened, not just in the cafeteria, but in her life. She hesitated at first, then told him about losing her father, about moving, about feeling like she had no place anywhere. When they were done talking, Mr. Lawson called the boys in, but instead of just giving them detention, he made them listen while Sarah explained, in her own words, what it felt like to be on the receiving end of their cruelty. She didn't cry, and she didn't yell. She spoke with a quiet strength that made even the most restless boy in the room stop fidgeting. By the time she was done, the bullies didn't have much to say. The punishment came, of course, but something else happened too. Over the next few weeks, Sarah noticed the same boys who had mocked her now stepping aside in the hallway, not to intimidate, but to let her pass. One even nodded at her once, not quite an apology, but not mockery either. The real change, though, was in how Sarah carried herself. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was participating in class, sitting with others during lunch, even helping a younger student who had dropped their books in the hallway. She didn't become best friends with everyone, but she didn't feel invisible either. And as for Mr. Lawson, he later admitted that when he saw the bullying start, he held back because he had seen that look in Sarah's eyes before. The look of someone deciding whether they would stay silent forever or finally speak up. He wanted to see her choose her own strength, and she had. By the end of the school year, people still remembered that lunchroom moment. Not because of the bullies, but because of the girl who refused to let them define her. And maybe that's what true nature is, not the face we show when everything is easy, but the one we reveal when we're pushed to the edge and decide to stand our ground anyway.